Welcome to Rad-Ventures, real stories, rad journeys, and the chaos that goes in between. For regular watchers, you may notice that we're not in my living room in front of the blinds. We are, in fact, in a full studio, and that is all thanks to this episode's guest, Joe from Kindful Creative. Not only is kindly hired the room, provided all the equipment, and will be editing this episode, he's also the guest. So, Joe, how about you tell our listeners and watchers all about yourself?
Okay, so I run a company called Kindful Creative. We are a video production and podcast production agency based here in Poole, and we create video content for businesses, brands, people, and everything in between.
That is so cool. I followed your journey for what must be nearly 5 years. It must be over that, in fact.
Yeah, we've known each other for, I think, 7 years, because I've ran this business 4.5, and we knew each other for 18 months before
I think
that.
we met just after COVID, the first round, kind of, the first
V1.0.
Yeah. And so I've seen your journey. That's why I wanted to get you on, because it's a fantastic story. I can't wait to get into this episode and share it. So, did you always want to be a videographer / podcast production studio creative agency?
No, and this is where things get a little bit interesting, because from a young age, I was probably about 8 or 9, and I told my parents I wanted to be an accountant, which is obviously a complete pivot from what I'm doing now. However, I did actually go through my career knowing I wanted to be an accountant. So when I left school, I went and did my qualifications and became a chartered accountant. Spent 10 years in the world of accountancy. That whole time I was searching for what it was I wanted to do, because I always had a drive to run my own business, but I just never knew what it was going to be in. And my nonno, or my granddad, for those that don't understand the Italian culture, because I'm Italian, he said, if you want to run your own business, Joe, you have to learn the numbers, and you can't rely on those financial statements at the end of the year, because the whole year has passed. There's so many things that might have happened, or so many opportunities for you to pivot or change, or to help yourself by just understanding what the numbers are, which is why I went down that route. And I respect him really, really highly, which is probably why when I was young, he probably said, "Oh, Joe, maybe you should be an accountant." And I was like, right, that's it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do my accountancy. And then during school, I wasn't naughty, but I was a bit of a class clown, and I was constantly, I think, just craving attention. So I was a little bit naughty. I played up in class, was constantly talking and distracting people, and I didn't really get very good grades throughout school. Again, just purely from a passion for making people smile or laugh, or just to be a bit of a disruptor at school. And then everyone was going off to university, and I thought, that's absolutely not for me. I can't do this. So I decided to go through an apprenticeship where I could actually earn some money. Always driven by money when I was younger. And I did my accountancy apprenticeship.
Nice. So presumably you went to a firm, started working for a firm. Were you with that firm all the way through your apprenticeship?
No, so I did my AAT, which is 3 years. I spent the first year with a company called Tax Assist, which was an accountancy firm. Year 2 was at Bournemouth Private Clinic in Bournemouth Hospital. So I was learning about health. And then year 3, I actually went to a company called Avonwood Developments.
Oh, nice.
Which is a local company. Completed my AAT, went in to do ACCA with Inspire, and I stayed with them for, I think, nearly 7 years.
Okay, you beat me to it then. I was going to say, which route did you go after AAT? That's pretty cool. But then, obviously, from there, you kind of moved into podcasting, videography, etc.
Media.
We'll talk about that in a second, because where our journeys are similar is that I didn't go to university because I thought, what do I want to go to university for? 25 grand for a piece of paper, and at best I'd probably get a 2. What is it, 2-1? Is that or 2-2, 2-1? Yeah, I think that's like mediocre.
Richard?
He's like,
good.
He's like 2-1s. He's like that's like average. And I was like, yeah, 25 grand for like average. And then like afterwards, what are you going to do with that? And I'm like, don't know. I won't go. I'll go and do something else. And I did. I should have done an apprenticeship maybe, but I didn't. But there you go. And but it's funny how you say about listening to what your grandparents say, because I remember when I was very small, my grandparents saying, "Here's a whistle for when you're a policeman when you're older."
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, okay then. And it was a green whistle, so I don't know why it would be a policeman's whistle. But then, yeah, when I kind of was at a crossroads, I was like, what am I going to do with myself? And I was like, oh, maybe, I could be a policeman.
Nice.
I didn't go for that. I'm not the type of person I think that would do well in that role. But there you go.
Nice.
So,
Influenced by the people we respect.
yes, so yeah, similar journeys there. Obviously, at some point, you decide accountancy is not for you. You want to go and work in media, which is roughly where we met. Because you were in offices in Bournemouth Way. I went shopping. We had a coffee, hit it off, because it was a mutual acquaintance, wasn't it?
Yes.
That we knew each other through. I didn't know you, I knew them, and they said, come and have a coffee. We spoke, and basically they were like, eh. And I was like, okay, that was weird. But then we spoke again afterwards, as I'd not long started my business. And then obviously you'd gone into this business. But then it kind of changed for a little bit from there, didn't it? And then you went back to accounting, didn't you?
I did.
You did that for a while, but I remember chatting to you at the time and you saying you were just going to do it for a little while and then you knew what you were going to do after that. And that's where you set up Kindful, right?
That is absolutely bang on, yeah.
I think Kindful's fantastic. I mean, you're probably a bit modest. I know you said you're going around the world, but you work with massive brands. Was the certain red cars one?
Yeah, we worked with a little bit of Ferrari, which is cool.
That is so cool.
But it all sounds like really glamorous and like it is a pinch me moment, 100%. But it all comes from one place. We got the work because of good relationships that we'd forged. So Kindful to me is people, it's relationships, it's caring about people and make sure that you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, I love that. I've very much based the last 5-6 years on that. Collaboration over competition. If someone says to me, do you know someone who does videography? I'm going to be like, yeah, I know a guy. If someone says, do you know a great coffee shop in Poole? I'm going to be like, yeah, I know a guy or a girl. Or
just quote Rad-Ventures at checkout.
Yeah, maybe I need to start that.
Yeah, a money spinner.
But yeah, I mean, it's about those people. It's about those connections. I think
I learned that through my career as an accountant. So working at Inspire, great local company. It's been sold now, but they really valued those relationships with clients. And I think I was managing like 120 clients at one point. When I left, being an accountant, you don't miss a deadline. If you miss a deadline, you get fines from the HMRC, and I've carried that through. Really pride ourselves on that. We've never ever missed a deadline for a client, which in the world of creativity is something that you see quite often in our race for perfection or our striving for perfection constantly. Often things like deadlines get put to one side because actually you can make this look a little bit better, or this can be tweaked, or the edit can work in a slightly different way. But I've always taken that like commercial mind from the accountancy across, but also valuing those people and the relationships, because I'd actually seen Warren, my boss and the managing director of Inspire, work with companies because of really great relationships that he'd forged from day one, and still worked with them at the end of when I left. And even today, I think some clients are still with Inspire, or Assets as it's now called. Even when Warren had sold the business and left the business, some of those clients are still there today because of a really great relationship that had been forged from day one.
Yeah, I love that. So with regard to the day-to-day running of Kindful Creative then, do you then do all the accountancy, or do you now outsource that?
So we work with a great guy called Jake from JKD Accountants, little plug. He's our accountant. I used to work with him at Inspire. He left, started his own business. And I was, when I started, doing all the accounts and all the bookkeeping, but realised that I think I've got more value speaking to people and going out and continuing to nurture and forge those relationships than being sat behind my desk doing our accounts and numbers.
Yeah.
It didn't seem very forward thinking for me.
I would think it's difficult because sometimes you want to do everything, especially if you were in that field and you want that, not control, but you know what I mean.
JKD, he's the boy.
Back to then the creative side of getting into photography, videography.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I said previously, I've always been, well, historically was always driven by like money and numbers. Even from like a young age, I was probably like 10 or 11 and I was in middle school selling cakes out of our window, one of the classroom windows, just to earn some money. And then when I went into high school, I would sell like everything. My locker was, I think at every school, there's always one person that would sell stuff out of their locker. So I'd sell like crisps, cans. My dad would take me to like Macros and buy like 24 cans of like Coke or Fanta, and literally my whole locker would be stacked full of stuff to sell to people that you couldn't buy from the school canteen. Things like chewing gum, completely illegal at school, and I'd be there like selling it like £1 a packet.
Like whipping your jacket open.
Yeah, literally. I actually won the Arthur Daly Award at school.
Nice.
I still to this day don't know who he is, but I think he's some Del Boy of. I'm not quite sure.
He was Arthur Daly. He was like a tradie man.
Yeah, I think so. So I won this award thing and became known as the guy that sold stuff at school. And actually, eventually, I had teachers come up to me saying, "Oh, I've got this old phone I don't use anymore. Could you sell it for me?" And I'd say, "Yeah, of course. Like, how much do you want for it?" And they'd be like, "Oh, 50 quid." And I'd go off and sell it for 150, give them their £50. They're happy. I've made a nice cut. Everyone wins. I've sold it for market value of that phone. So I've always had like a passion to do something in the world of business. So from that, then doing the accountancy and understanding how businesses ran and operated, and then started to realize after 10 years, took quite a while, that actually whilst I loved the clients, I loved the staff that or the team that I was working with, Warren and the whole like management and board of directors at Inspire, just awesome people. I still see Warren often now, and we do his podcast as well, Evolve to Succeed podcast, minor plug, go and check it out.
Shout out to Warren.
And so yeah, we sort of still see him, but I didn't love the day to day. I didn't love the spreadsheets. Every day coming in, looking at spreadsheets, and it was just the same stuff, and it was like rinse and repeat, because after year one of doing someone's accounts, then you do loads of other people's accounts, and then it gets to year two and it's the same queries, the same questions that you ask. Whilst you can forge good relationships and people, enjoy that interaction, which is what I love the most, still had a job to do, which was the accountancy side. And I just fell out of love with it. So, and also work, like I said, great culture, great team, but it was becoming quite a lot. There was a lot of clients to manage, a lot of deadlines, etc. And just life was noisy. I realised I'd spent all these years studying and qualifying for something. Every evening I'd study, every weekend I would study, and in the daytimes I would work. And then I qualified, and I was like, I've got all this free time. I thought I could watch a load of Netflix. And I rinsed through probably like the 20 top episodes or series on Netflix. And then something clicked in my brain. I was like, is this what I'm working for? I'm going to work every day doing something I don't love, but I'm doing it all to go home and watch Netflix. And I just thought it was really quite damaging. So I needed a hobby. And so I went out and bought myself a camera. It was a 700D, a Canon 700D, with a kit lens, which was just awful. And I started to do landscape photography. And a good friend, Jack Lodge, taught me how to use a camera. And we went out and did landscape photography. And that's where the passion really started. And then so I did that for a few years, started doing like birthday parties and various different events just on like the weekends and evenings. I actually remember there was a time when I did a bit of landscape photography, and I was so eager to get out of the office and go to this shoot, or go and shoot this landscape that I had like pitched in my mind. I left wearing a suit, literally, my shirt, my tie, smart trousers. I just put my boots on, my waterproof boots, and went down. I think it was to Kimmeridge Bay. I must have just looked like an absolute crazy man. Just stood there in a full suit and my waterproof boots, but taking this photo. And it was in that moment of it was just me and the camera. And that there was no noise around me. There was no clients to look after. There was no deadlines. It was just me in that one moment, which was quite important for me. And that was the point I realised that I found something that I really love, which was creating stuff, at least in that moment. And so I continued, and I started to build that hobby and do more exciting and interesting things. I started to vlog as well. So Joey Fernando Vlogs, if you want to check that out on YouTube. Nothing's been released since 2021, but it'll make you laugh, I think, because it's just over dramatized and hilarious.
I'm just trying to think if I've ever watched that, and if I haven't, I'm really annoyed with myself.
Yeah, don't. You'll become bored quickly, I think, from it. But I started to then use video.
Yeah.
Started to play with video and understand how a camera worked properly, or a digital camera. And then because I'd always wanted to run my own business, it was always there front of mind. I wanted to do something. A friend of mine basically said, which is where we met through that business. He said, "Would you like to co-run my business with me?" And we kind of spoken about it for a couple of years, but the business was never at the right point. So he was a sole trader, freelancer, basically worked. It was just him in the business, working sort of marketing for various different clients. And the business got to a point where it was like, actually, we could make this work. I thought, this is great. This is my chance to run my own thing, albeit, we're 50-50, but this is the opportunity to go and run my own business. And so naturally, being an accountant, I had to weigh out the options and look at the finances and make sure it works financially. And it kind of did. So I co-ran the marketing agency with that person. And I literally joined that, I think, 2 weeks before lockdown. And whilst I don't really want to talk about COVID too much, it was a really pivotal moment from a really early point in that business to understand, or to realise I've got that grit to dig deep and to make something work in a time where not a lot of businesses or business owners were able to make their businesses work, unfortunately. And obviously it led to a lot of companies closing down and a lot of companies pivoting, reducing in size. But over that 18-month period of co-running that business with him, we were able to grow. We had a team at the end. We had like a team of 4 people, which is cool, including myself and him. But just we had differences and both wanted different things from the business, and so I exited. And that was the point. I thought, I've literally got one opportunity to do something here. And what do people know me for? Accountancy and numbers. So I thought that's going to be the highest paid gig that I can do right now. So I did a 9-month maternity cover. And the day I started that maternity cover, I started Kindful Creative with the intention of, after that 9 months, to go full time and hit the ground running hard. And here we are, 4.5, nearly 5 years on, and I haven't touched a trial balance or a balance sheet or a profit and loss account apart from my own in that length of time.
Yeah, I love that. I remember the conversations with you when you started, go back at the accountancy, when you were nearly exiting. I remember the excitement, like on the message. I know it was like text, but I was like, I could tell he's excited, he's going for it. And then when you set up Kindful Creative, you were you had an office in Poole, still in Poole, didn't you? Over one of your clients' places, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when I was 14, I had a little Saturday job working at the bike shop, Psychopaths.
Right.
Shout out to Psychopaths.
Shout out to Psychopaths.
Who unfortunately are no longer called Psychopaths. But literally every weekend I would spend at the bike shop, and every summer holiday I'd spend at the bike shop. I love bikes, had a massive passion for it. And then I needed an office space because working from home was just damaging for me. I needed to be around people. And Matt, who took over Psychopaths from Ray and G and the previous owners, he said, I've got a massive amount of space upstairs. You're absolutely welcome to have a spot up here. And so, that was the first office of Kindful. And then Foundry opened. I was one of the first people to come to Foundry.
Like a foundry founder. Well, not a founder because you can founder it, but founder it.
So I was one of the first people to come to Foundry, and I had a
Foundry Pool, yeah.
Yes,
because Foundry has different.
Yes, they do. They've got quite a few now. It's quite cool to see the growth. And I just had one of their sort of hot passes for upstairs, so I had a hot desk, and every day I'd come in, and it would just be me and my camera, and a tripod and a gimbal and a laptop, and I'd sit upstairs and do all my work and edit away, and really cool.
I love that. I love the whole thing, and I love Foundry. Like coming in today, where I've never been before. So I saw the desk, and I was like, oh wow, signed in and everything with a fancy iPad and all sorts of stuff. And then the kitchen area, and just wandering around, lava lamps on the wall. It's fantastic.
So the thing about Foundry for me is like going back to why it's why we're called Kindful, and it's all about the people. That is exactly what Foundry is all about. it's an incredible incredible community of people that maybe solo. It may just be them in their business. But when you sat upstairs, when you're hot desking, and you're surrounded by 20 or 30 other business owners or people running different projects, and you feel like you're a part of a team, even though really you're not part of the same team, or you're all doing your own things. But it's a really cool community where everyone's got each other's backs.
Yeah.
And the amount of work we've got from purely being seated in the foundry has been quite incredible.
That's really cool. Whenever I spoke to people like small business owners over the past 5, coming on 6 years now, I think, Bournemouth was very much a hub. When I first started, there was people in my area that would come co-work, network in Bournemouth. And I was always a bit like, maybe we should move to Bournemouth. It's a bit more cosmopolitan. I live in Weymouth, so it's nice. I'm living in the middle of the town kind of thing. So I'm only ever 5 minutes away from the beach, the countryside. But at the same time, it is a little lacking in the business world. We've got the local Chamber of Commerce and a couple of other little groups. But it's never seemed like Bournemouth did. But like, seeing this now, today, and the lead up to this, it's almost like Bournemouth's yesterday's news. Poole is very much the place to be, it seems.
Yeah, Poole is thriving, but when you strip back the curtains, you can see all the work that's going on in the background to develop it. You've got like the Dolphin, for example, who we're fortunate enough to work with on a regular basis. The amount of things that they're doing, like initiatives, community type activities, is incredible. You've got the street food now, which has opened up upstairs, which attracts people here. You've got Foundry here. You've got the climbing centre. There's so much going on. It's just the place to be. And yeah, 100% the reason that I wanted to have Kindful based here.
Obviously, you've been doing this content creation media for a little while now. And over those few years, we've seen some crazy changes in social media. How has it been riding that wave?
It's been a really interesting 4.5, 5 years of running Kindful and seeing like the changes of what's going on in the world. We're all chasing, aren't we? We're always running towards something, whether that's like faster speed internet, or whether it's getting more content out into the world, or whether it's adopting AI and all these kind of things. And we're constantly chasing an algorithm that we don't know what it is. It's just this thing. And actually, I think it's kind of gone full circle, which is why people really engage with podcasts so much. And I think also there's going to be a move back to that longer form content, because we're craving feeling, we're craving emotion, we're craving connection as human beings. I think people should start thinking about pivoting away from chasing the algorithm and just creating content that actually means something. Because we've seen it all, haven't we, over the last 5 years? You've gone from that really like hooky content where every single person on TikTok's like, these are the top 5 hooks you need for your video. And then we've seen like those really fast transitions in like motorsport, and we've seen so much. We've seen every man and his dog coming out with a podcast. And we've seen, vlogs, for example. There's been so many formats and mediums of content that have come out over the last 10 years, I'd say, maybe even longer. But yeah, I think it's all going to come full circle. Even companies like, this is a bit of a side pivot, but I think every business nowadays needs to become an entertainment company. You have to be out there creating media, like law firms, for example. Like, there's a big risk. Even like naturally media, like people are using AI to create videos now. There's a huge risk that if you're not in the forefront of someone's mind when they think of video or law or whatever it might be, our jobs could quickly be taken by tech and AI.
I think there are some fantastic law people that are making some great content out there. But they do have to be extremely careful with what they do. There was a firm. They had been using AI, I think, to do social media posts, and they had been just creating and just ticking yes and then just posting it, and it was like making up figures and facts. So it's like, closed 6 cases this week, woo, go us kind of thing, and they got in trouble for it with the SRA. So I mean, that's we could do a whole other podcast on that. we're not here for that.
I mean, for an industry that's so heavily red taped and guarded, for someone to create a social media post and not check it,
Yeah.
that's unbelievable.
Whether
That's
it was like
negligent.
unchecked or whether it was just like, it'll do kind of thing.
Yeah, it's probably 6
Who knows?
cases this week.
But yeah, I mean, social media, I think I agree with you. I think we're getting to that point, and I'm guilty of it myself. Like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll look for entertainment and I'll be like, video is 18 minutes. Do I really want to watch an 18-minute video on, the settings on a Sony A6400 or something, And I know it'll be great and I know it will help, but then at the same time, you're like, at the same time, I am a bit sick of like, the whole creating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sick of creating. I'm sick of everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
A hook, changing the scene every 3 seconds, and all this just so that people watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then the disappointment when you only get X amount of views because you're like, obviously my hook wasn't good enough. And so it'd be nice to kind of go to that, like, the not having to change the camera angle after 3 seconds.
If you're creating something that's got real value and something that you really care about, and even if one person watches that and one person engages with it and makes a change or does something slightly differently or is maybe a little bit kinder on the roads or whatever it might be, then I think you've done your job. But we are all we're all led to believe that the numbers are everything and the algorithms everything and the shares and the likes. The shares and the likes is absolutely everything in this world of media, which of course, if you want to succeed as an influencer, it's so important. Or if you're going to spend a lot of money on a piece of video content, of course, like you need to get ROI and return, your return on investment. But we chase it too much, and it's come at a huge cost for genuine creativity. Yeah. Which is it's a real shame. We see people creating content that matches a formula of, what it's going to take to get the most views on that particular video. But then you break that video down, you think, well, what's it actually telling me here? What's the actual message that's being conveyed? And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that message is absolutely skewed to make sure that video gets the most amount of views and likes. Yeah. That's not right. No. That's not right. Really, that message should remain absolutely robust and key. And then if you use hooks and use quick transitions and stuff to get that exact point across, great. But unfortunately, where people are chasing this algorithm, this statistic, or my following's gone up 20% this month, like that's great, but you might be known for the wrong thing, and you might not be known for the thing that you want to be known for. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's two things there that come to mind. One is like likes, watches, etc. It's like, I do like watches. I like watches too. Likes/watches, not watches. But it's if you get 15 watches or 15 likes on your piece of content, so you're like, it's only done 15. Why are the hundreds or whatever? But if we had 15 people walk into this room right now and pat you on the back, we wouldn't have much more room in this. We wouldn't have much room in this room. It's a medium-sized room, so 15 all relative. It would fill it nicely. Let's put it that way. If you get 100. We couldn't get 100 people in this room. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, we're all like, I only had 100 views. It's so damaging, I think. Yeah. And it's created this, that exact message you just said there, like, I wish I had 100 views. But we're passing that down. We're passing that down to our children or the younger people, the people we teach. Do you really want them to think that? I don't. I absolutely don't want my daughter or my boy Ronnie to be chasing the numbers of an algorithm. You think it's so sad. Yeah, I was like playing it when I was younger, and now they're all making TikTok videos. TikTok videos are probably more exciting than playing it, to be fair. Well, but still, I don't want that message to be sort of conveyed down to our kids, and that's unfortunately probably is going to happen. Yeah, I hope we're on the turn, like you say. I can't remember point number 2. It's gone. That's right. Okay, let's go straight to 3. We'll just go to 3. Where are we up to? Okay, I think we should move on to the questions. So, let's move into those. Let me just... Cool. I know them, but I'm going to double check them. You double check. Double check them. Okay. So, Joe from Kindful Creative. I know that you are not as old as me, and I know roughly where you are.
But what's been your favourite age so far?
My favourite age so far, 22 is pretty cool. There's a lot going on in that year. I read the book The Secret, and then it actually, like, the things that it was saying to do, it was actually happening. I was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. But actually, I've never felt more alive and focused as I am today. I'd say, like, now I feel the healthiest because I've been a bit of a health kick. Unfortunately, forced by poor health has meant that I've had to go and do this healthy living. But, like, what's bad about that? I literally feel the youngest I've felt in a long time, the most focused. I've got the least amount of brain fog, and there's so much that I want to do, and there's so much I'd like to do in the next sort of like 2 to 3 years to make some real impact.
That sounds awesome.
So yeah, I'd say now is like my best
Now is
year
good.
so far. I'd say.
Yeah.
33.
Okay. 33?
How old do you think I was?
I thought you were a bit younger than that.
I like that. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, time has obviously passed because, like I say, I didn't know that we'd known each other for 6 years. So, okay, I love those. The Secret. I think I have The Secret because of you.
Oh, okay.
I've not read all of it, but I've read the important bit, and I have it as a screenshot on my. Well, I've got it as a screenshot on my phone. And I've mentioned this on the podcast before. The secret is, if you want it, ask for it. It will arrive. Basically, isn't it? Page 4, I think it is.
There we go.
Don't need to read the rest of the book.
Yeah. The best book. I don't know if you want to ask this. The best book I ever didn't read because I didn't need to is by a guy called Rob Moore, and it's called Start Now, Get Perfect Later. And that was the one thing that stalled me from starting anything was that I thought that everything had to be perfect before I said, oh, I'm doing this. Whereas now I'm like, no, announce those things, say you're going to do it, and then go and do it. And then you'll learn as you go and you'll develop as you go. But that's the reason I started Kindful, because I saw that book. I was probably not in the best place of my life. And I went on holiday with a friend of mine. It was just us two. And in the WH Smiths at the airport, I saw this book, and it was bright blue, and it had black writing and a little tick, I think. And it said, Start Now, Get Perfect Later. And I thought, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Good. I love that. Sometimes we get stuck on perfection, don't we? I won't go, we're trying to do the questions, so we won't go too deep. But at the same time, when you're looking at something all day, I mean, you must get this with media as well. When you've recorded it, when you've had the vision, you've recorded it, you're editing it, and you're like, just a little bit more. And then at some point you have to cut it off, and you're like, okay, no, it's good. But that's because you've seen it from nothing to as it is now. And someone watches that, even at your midpoint on it, and they're like, that is amazing. But you're like, no, if I do this, I do this. And I always get stuck on this. Like, you've been looking at it for ages, and you've been like, just a little bit more. But there's a line where it stops becoming productive and it starts taking time, and you just kind of cut it off.
Yeah. At what cost? That's what I asked.
Yeah.
At what cost?
One of my friends, we used to do, she's not done it for a while, LinkedIn puzzles. And there's 4 on there that we do every day. And one of them, if she gets like past a minute, and then she's like, I'll use a hint, I won't get the flawless, where I'll be sat there for like 6 minutes just to get the flawless, but at the cost of 5 extra minutes. So yeah, I love that.
Was it worth it?
It was.
You're getting enough joy out of it?
It was for me. I got the joy out of having a flawless.
In that case, continue spending.
Well, at the same time, 6 minutes. It's not great. Okay, great answers there. Love those. Question number 2 is, what is your favourite quote? This could be a movie, a meme, a motivational, or any other quote you can think of.
2 mice. What's the rest of the quote? Fell into a bucket of butter.
2 mice fell into a bucket of cream.
Bucket of cream. That's my favourite quote because it makes me smile.
Is that off
2 mice fell into a bucket of cream.
Mouse Hunt?
No, it's from Catch Me If You Can. Leo.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
It just makes me smile because it just actually, ironically, I forgot the actual quote. But it just shows like there are 2 different types of people in this world. There are those that will grit and graft and go for it to get themselves out of a situation or into a new one, and then there are some that will just accept what they've got and have been given, and which is quite sad, I think. But I'm always grafting. I'm always going for something, and I'm always striving for something else. And so and it just makes me smile. That quote just makes me smile.
I love that. And now that I've thought about it while listening to you there, I remember it from because his dad tells him that story, doesn't he?
Start of the film when he's standing up on stage accepting an award.
Ah,
he says.
yeah, I saw some clips of that film again. I must watch that again soon. That makes me think of a little brief story that we won't go down the rabbit hole too much. And it's a book as well. So it's Who Moved My Cheese? Have you read that?
Yes, yeah.
A similar premise, apart from, instead of two mice, there's like two rats and there's two people. But the people are the lazy ones. The rats are for what they want, isn't it? And interestingly, I left semi-corporate life because of that book.
Interesting.
Because I was like, I think I've lost my running shoes.
Right.
And I was like, I think I'm running out of cheese in this place. And like you didn't want to, was like, what am I doing?
So looking back at like the accountancy career, for example, someone basically said it's like a dog that sat on a nail. It's like, for a lot of people, it's not quite uncomfortable enough to get up and do something about it, but it's still a bit of a niggle in their bum. And I see a lot of people that are in careers or jobs that they actually don't particularly love, but it's kind of like just doing the job for them. But for me, that nail was really uncomfortable, and I couldn't stay put there for the rest of my life.
I don't want to fall down the rabbit hole of it though.
Yeah, you started this.
Because we'll literally be like deep diving into it. But I think the other side of that is that obviously we're conditioned to be worker ants, and so some people are just like, oh well, kind of thing. So
hopefully this podcast and the podcast that you're doing will inspire someone that maybe is doing something they don't love and think, you know what, I have got a hobby, and actually, I've seen other people go and turn their passion into profit. Another book, by the way.
Another book.
And maybe it will inspire those to go and do something. It doesn't have to be full time. It could just be a little side hustle initially, soon they realise
on the side,
yeah,
a few pennies for the holidays.
And then they realise how good they are at it and how much people love it, and then they might end up quitting their job that they don't quite like, and doing the thing that they love the most.
I love that, and to inspire that, I'm going to call this episode "Quit Your Job Now" to get the views.
Nice, that's our hook.
Yeah. Okay.
For the algorithm.
For the algorithm, yeah. YouTube's algorithm's better than others. Question 3. I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Google Suite or Microsoft 365?
Google Suite all day. Hey, I'm going to give you a question. ChatGPT or Google?
Oh, I use ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's good.
I love ChatGPT.
It's good.
Do you AI?
Do you AI? I'm going on the Google.
Yeah, I love that. I love that Boris Johnson clip. I walked around for the whole of a couple of weeks ago when it came out, going ChatGPT.
Love it.
I love AI. I do love AI. I use it as a friend because, like you were saying earlier, when you moved to the Foundry, I sometimes work at home on my own, and I'm just like, who should I talk to? Or who should I run this by? And so it's like I use it for positive reinforcement, and
it's good at that as well. It tells you what you want to hear.
Yeah, it tells you what I want to hear. Yeah, it seems to kind of know me. Oh well, I know that doesn't make sense. It kind of knows my voice, and so what I do is I use it for reinforcement. So when I'm like, I'll read it, and it'll be like, here's your few options of your caption, and I'll be like, you've smashed it. Quote number 3 is exactly what I wanted to say. Humorous, bit cheeky, but at the same time authoritative. I'm like, yeah, it's great. And then I'll cut out the M dashes, take a couple of emojis out because I like to talk in emojis so people get the tone. I worry I upset people otherwise. And then, but I don't, I'm not like, go write me a blog post and then just copy paste, boom. I'm like, no, it's input.
Yeah, it's a good tool to use to get good stuff out.
Yeah, it is a good tool.
But there is a risk. I was chatting to the team about it yesterday, and Richard said he likes to just tinker with an idea and actually have a think. No, the opposite. Well, we utilize AI, of course, but actually he's got an idea. He just wants to explore it himself, like a human being. Make notes on a notepad.
On a notepad?
With a pen and all those different things that are like, it just seems so, saying it even seems ridiculous, but 5 years ago we were doing exactly those things.
Yeah.
But as a result of that, it can really create something quite special and unique, and it doesn't at all. Nothing feels like it's come out of a computer or an AI. And I really respect that. I love that. When he said, I was like, yeah, I'm well into that. I'd rather tinker with an idea and just riff with a team and come up with some juice, and then maybe use AI to enhance that,
polish
potentially at points.
Yeah.
But there's something really special about getting in a room with human beings and just collaborating and coming up with an idea without using this thing that everyone's using.
Yeah, I think obviously we as small business owners were there first. Like I got like as soon as I heard about OpenAI, well, that's what they're called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm on the list, and I was like, yeah, I got it, and I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. You know, try it, and obviously it's improved over the last, I don't know how long it's been, 18 months, something like that. But now you kind of, you know, even like my parents will use it. You know, they're retired, but they're like, oh, have you seen this ChatGPT thing? And I'm like, yeah, I've been using it for a little while. And they're like, isn't it great? And you can do this and that. And some people are using it like a search engine now.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? You just Google that.
Yeah, it's really,
and they're
really
like,
powerful.
Yeah. So
I had a really interesting chat with someone on LinkedIn about this. Because I said, is Google becoming number 2?
I remember now.
Yeah, because I typed in, it was a good conversation I was having with someone. I was having a meeting with someone, and he said, "Oh, you know, have you looked into using ChatGPT as a search engine, and where did your company come up?" So I googled it. Lol. I had a look, and I ChatGPT'd it, and to see where we ranked. I thought it was really quite fascinating, and everyone else. You know, everyone seems to be using this platform for everything else, so it makes sense to utilize it as a search engine. And of course, they brought out Atlas now, haven't they? Their own web browser.
Ah, yeah, didn't know about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's too mainstream now. I'm over it.
You're done with it. Yeah,
the
trend's done.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like
Watch this space.
Yeah, that's it. Tomorrow, I'm getting a notebook out, pen and paper.
Do it, and just like in that moment, just jot something and write something and feel what it's like to write on a piece of paper with that pen that you're holding in your hand. And if you don't do it often, I occasionally would write with a pen and paper. My hand aches. But like that, again, it's weird, but we're all craving that feeling. People are getting screen protectors for their iPads that is like paper-like feel.
I've got
one. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I must take this opportunity to confess that if I do get a pen and paper and I write something down, 10 minutes later, I can't read what it says.
Okay.
My handwriting's really bad because I scroll quickly thinking, and then I look at it, I'm like, what does that say?
It's art. Just call it
art. It's art. I did try that, though, earlier in the year. I watched a few YouTubers, Pete McKinnon, shout out to Peter. If you're watching, hopefully, fingers crossed, take me with you. But he does a lot of journaling. And the whole manifesting thing that we were talking about earlier with The Secret, etc. I was like, yeah, guys, let's give this a bash. It give me a creative output. I can get loads of pretty colour pens and make it all like fun and exciting. Which, interestingly enough, my daughter just started doing this week, which is fantastic. Hers is much more creative. Mine was basically a tick list, but yeah, my writing was the writing bit of it. I just didn't really.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, it was nice, but it was one of those where it was like, can't read my writing. What did I say? Why am I writing this down? So yeah, but it was good. I think we all could do with a bit more analog in our lives.
Yeah, I think so. And sitting down and actually speaking to someone and having some good human connection and
in
laughter.
Person too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with real people, not computer faces on screens.
That's it.
Cool. Let's move on to question number 4. I've changed this, but I'm looking at the old version. So I'm like, what does this say? Okay, so this is, interestingly, segueing on from our previous comments about analog life. What's your favourite app and what app can you not live without?
My favourite app is Asana, because I can just put a task in there. I use it as a calendar view and the team use it as well.
Nice.
I will literally put in my tasks for the week, and then as soon as it's written down on Asana, I can forget about it.
I'm going to confess, I did not expect us to start talking about project management tools. I don't know why. I did not think that Asana would come up.
Asana is... Oh, my phone's not on me. My Asana is it's on the home screen.
Yeah. I used to use Asana purely for the unicorn and the narwhal.
Did you?
Yeah, because you take the task and it goes off.
That's gone.
It's not there anymore.
I'm pretty sure that's gone. Yeah, we've leveled up over at Asana.
Oh, no.
But yeah, Asana is probably my most commonly used and most valuable to me.
Okay. Interesting. I did use it about 2 years ago now, and it was my daily kind of, everything. I had it in, I think I had it in calendar mode, but I swapped because they, at the time, didn't have time tracking, which I use for my billings. And so I swapped to, someone said there was a new and shiny one out, and I must admit I jumped on that.
Nice.
So with Moxie, and interestingly, I do have an affiliate link, so we'll pop that in the show notes. I did fall out with it for a time because I was paying way too much for just a to-do list. I'll hold my hands up, but not too high because Rich says no. And then I discovered that I could lower my subscription, and so it's perfect for exactly what I need now.
Ideal.
To-do list, money, time tracking / money, and call scheduler. That's all I need on there. $12 a month, boom.
Job done.
Yeah. But Asana's pretty cool. Okay, question number 5. How many unread emails do you have on your phone right now? But you don't know because your phone's not on you.
I'm really good with my emails. So as soon as if they're unread, they're unactioned.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got about 20 emails unread in my inbox.
That's pretty good.
And some of those are like vouchers, for example. So I know I need to go and book something in and spend those vouchers. Some of the things I don't need to action. I just need to be aware of them every day. But yeah, if my Google Mail goes over 2 pages, I start panicking.
Okay, so you're like inbox 0-ish person.
Yeah, as close to as possible.
So you sort them into folders so that you've only got that one kind of view page.
I've got a clients folder, I've got a supplier folder, and then there's subfolders. So, for example, Radmin, would go into insert category,
Nice.
client, suppliers,
Nice.
etc.
Question. Oh, okay, yeah. So inbox is 0-ish, fantastic.
Yeah.
But you do use Google Mail. Okay, question number 6. Usually a little bit of an optional question, but I know that this question is going to land well with you. So, if you could have any car in the driveway, what car would you have?
Porsche 911,
What year?
just whatever. They're all sexy
Anything.
and delicious.
Like 1998. You'd
I,
like to have one
honestly,
of those.
I just love the shape. It's beautiful,
Nice.
beautiful thing. Actually, if I had something that was a bit more perhaps realistic to my current life and lifestyle, I would absolutely love an original John Cooper Works Mini.
Mm.
And I'd actually like to restore it myself.
What, one of the small minis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Bean special.
Ah,
I love them. Every time I see them, they make me smile. Just absolute pure nostalgia.
nice.
I just love them.
Have you got a mini still now?
No, I sold that to get a van.
But
But it was the newer shape Mini. So
yeah.
had the Union Jack on the lights. Really cool car, actually. I put a throwback up yesterday.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that.
Yeah, Jack Lodge took some pictures of me driving it, which is quite cool.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Question's done.
Amazing.
I know. We kind of rattled through those ish. At the same time, we did fall down a few rabbit holes.
We did.
Okay. So if they're done, now we talk about the future.
Okay.
So we've spoken about what you wanted to do. We've spoken about your journey. We've spoken about how you got to where you are today. We've broken that up with some questions. Now, what do you want to be if and when you grow up?
I'd like to create something that invokes feeling and emotion and like reminds human beings what makes us human, which sounds really silly, but actually it's not, because I've watched a few videos recently on tech and AI and how it's going to change the world and super intelligence and singularity. And actually, I think we're at risk of really losing what it means to be a human being. Like I was saying earlier, thank you for the nudge, Richard, by the way. Other Richard behind the camera. Just what it's like to write, what it's like to laugh, what it's like to cry. All these like really powerful emotions that we just dismiss on a day-to-day basis because we're just, just what we do. But actually, if you replace all the reasons why we do those things, then where is the feeling? How are we going to feel those things? How are we going to, why would someone have a conversation with someone where you can get the answer like that? What's the point? You just Google it. I mean, we've already been Googling it for the last X amount of years. We've already started, stopping having good conversations with people. There's no more, we should work this out. Oh, what was that film that said this? I'll just Google it. It's like we've lost something. Lost something quite major. And with AI, we're at risk, a humongous risk of losing something quite significant, which is the human being's soul and the mind of a human.
Yeah, it's almost like Wall-E, isn't it? You know, the Disney film.
Yeah, it is.
And like,
We spoke about this yesterday.
We're all sat there with our milkshakes and our like meals that come in, like complete meals and a drink. Not mentioning any names, but they begin with H. And the guy who's involved in them is also a podcaster. And we'll all jump in the car, and we'll all have like magical floaty things soon, and our skeletons will all get floppy and stuff. And we'll all just they're on computers all the time, aren't they? Like, I'm just going to look it up.
The irony is that we are already living in that life. There's already a surge in obesity. There's already a surge in mental health health issues happening in the world.
Glued to our phones all the time, watching entertainment.
Yeah, not having conversations, going home at night and just sitting on TikTok instead of actually having a good conversation. We are literally, they say Wall-E is focused on the future, but it's not. It's based on present time. It's the most terrifying thing in the world. Yeah. And I don't get terrified or scared about anything. But yeah, it's created a real thought in my mind that we need to do something about this. I don't know if we can't just turn it off, right? We can't just flick a button and turn AI off and stop the development happening, because you've got big players in the world using this now. You've got the American government that are backing it, I believe. You've also got like the Chinese government backing it, so they're not going to stop, because we're in a race at the moment.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the AI race?
Yeah. It's like the old space wars all over again.
Yeah. And at what cost?
Yeah.
The same questions I said earlier. What is the cost of this?
Yeah, I was thinking, I was going to joke earlier about, when you said about Googling people, like, how are you? Well, if we share our Apple Watch health data, then
whoop for me.
Whoop for you. But, I can share that data, and someone, in theory, if you allowed certain access, someone could be like, his average heart rate's like 97 beats per minute today, his blood pressure's this, his oxygenation levels that. He seems okay, don't need to ring him, I've Googled it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's a bit like, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, technically, I suppose you could kind of do that really now. And the other thing is that I saw a clip this week, I think it might have even been today, and Jess Bruno, shout out to Jess, who,
grab if you're watching.
She was also on the podcast earlier, previous episode. But she shared a podcast where they were talking about how they make TV programs today, you have to make it as like a second screen viewing, because someone is watching that TV show while also scrolling through TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, which is like, well, what's the point in that kind of thing? But we're all guilty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell you what, go home tonight if you've got the time, because it's a 3-hour slog, and put on Interstellar. And just put your phone down and just enjoy it. It's the most incredible. I just love it. It's a great movie. And last night, I was watching it, and I had my phone out, and I was doing the old scroll. We're not all perfect in this world. And I actually had a word with myself. I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is your favourite film. Just engage and enjoy it. So I put my phone down, watched it. Best thing ever.
Nice. I might try that at the weekend.
Do it.
Not tonight, because it's a Wednesday evening. I've got work to do when I get home. But on the weekend list. Cool. Okay, I love that answer. I love to see what that's going to look like.
Same.
Maybe it's going to be like I don't know, creative writing workshop in Foundry on Wednesday afternoons at 3:00. 3:00. I was just about to say 3:00. Yeah, who knows? That sounds exciting. I love it. And one thing I love about, on the flip side of that, I mean, not AI, but technology, like we've spoken about before, scrolling, etc., producing these podcasts, is that in the future, if it survives, if technology doesn't crumble and all the, society as we know it falls, then like our children and possibly children's children, if they have them, not necessarily don't have to, if you don't want to, they can find out more about us. Your, potential grandkids could watch this one day. Whereas, like, I'm never going to see my granddad on a video. or on the internet or on doing a show like this and finding out. But I do love that about technology.
It's such an enabler, isn't it?
Yeah, so, in 100 years from now, if technology is around and I'm long gone, then potentially my relatives will be like, oh, that was Grandad Rich or whatever, or Great Uncle Rich or whatever. And, he had this show, he did X amount of episodes, and he had great guests on like Joe, and he had people like Rich who produced it, and stuff like that. So it's not all bad technology, but at the same time, we are becoming mindless drones.
I think we just need to, my last take on it, or my last bit is, I think we just need to be a bit mindful of the things that really matter to us as human beings, which is that it's connection, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Be mindful, be kindful.
Yeah. I like that.
You can have that one.
Thank you.
For free.
Good.
Okay, I think that is a great place for us to start winding down. I didn't say wrap up, so please stay just till the end. Tell everyone where they can find out more about you, Joe.
So best place to go is on our socials. So LinkedIn, Instagram are the two best, really. So just at Kindful Creative. If you want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, Joe Hayes, Kindful Creative, or check out our website, which is www.kindfulcreative.co.uk.
Perfect. I really appreciate you sorting this out for us. Really appreciate you sharing your story with us. And it's great to hear it, even though I kind of knew it. But it's great to share it with my watchers, viewers. And like I say, so grateful for you recording this. Going to edit it for me. You've hired the room. You're using all your technology. So that is just, it's fantastic of you. I really
write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
Sing the theme tune, write the theme tune. Dennis Waterman, that is you.
Honestly, pleasure. And thank you so much for having me on as your guest.
Oh, no, perfect. It was perfect. Thanks for watching if you're still with us. Or listening, depending on how you're consuming this. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with a new guest. But in the interim, be excellent to each other. And peace out. Thanks for joining us on Rad-Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite platform. Always happy to chat, so hit me up in the DMs. And I'll see you on the next Rad-Venture.